Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking something truly wild, a fascinating piece of modern history. We're going to look at how a marginalized group of immigrants, who arrived with virtually nothing to their names, somehow managed to build the single most powerful and enduring criminal network in American history. We're tracking their journey from the desperate, crowded streets of New York all the way to the absolute peak of underworld power. It's a massive story about survival, incredible ambition, and ruthless structure.
Their code was silence. Their business was power. Let's dive right in with that quote, because it really hits the nail on the head. For decades, the American Mafia wasn't just your run-of-the-mill group of criminals. No way. They were an absolute force of nature, ruling America's underworld right from the shadows. We are talking about a legendary level of influence here. They had their hands in literally everything. They controlled illegal gambling, they ran the bootlegging empires, they infiltrated labor unions, and they even bent politicians to their will. But to really understand how they achieved this monumental grip on American society, we've got to go back to where the whole shebang started.
Section 1. Escape to America. The harsh reality of the late 1800s. So, back in the late 1800s, millions of Italians, specifically from the island of Sicily, fled brutal poverty and some really entrenched corruption. They were looking for the promise of America. But while New York promised boundless opportunity, the reality they walked into delivered intense discrimination. They were pushed right to the margins of society, they had to take the absolute lowest paying, most backbreaking jobs you can imagine, and they were forced to live in incredibly overcrowded, unsanitary neighborhood tenements. For them, the American dream was locked securely behind closed doors. The conditions were just desperate.
So what do you do when the system completely turns its back on you? Well, you protect yourselves. These harsh, discriminatory conditions naturally sparked the formation of local street gangs. Initially, it was purely about survival. And it's interesting, because some of these groups acted almost like a neighborhood watch, offering genuine protection to their communities. But others, they very quickly realized they could exploit the vulnerable, demanding money in exchange for safety through outright extortion. At this stage, though, keep in mind, they were still just fragmented, neighborhood-level street gangs.
Section 2. Forging the Code. Secret Sicilian Traditions.
To see how these gangs evolved, we have to look backward to the secret criminal societies of Sicily. They adopted this ironclad law called omertà. Now, omertà is absolutely crucial to understand. It's a strict code of silence and absolute loyalty, where betrayal meant certain death, period. You didn't talk to the police, you didn't betray your brothers, and you handled all your problems internally. This specific code of silence became the unshakable foundation of their entire empire. It's what made them practically impossible for law enforcement to penetrate.
Section 3. Structuring the Syndicate. The early 1900s.
Okay, by the early 1900s, out of all this chaos and warring factions in New York, we see this massive, literally game-changing evolutionary leap. They went from being ordinary, chaotic street gangs fighting over turf to highly sophisticated syndicates. We're talking calculated, business-minded empires built systematically on extortion, loan sharking, protection rackets, and illegal gambling. They completely stopped acting like neighborhood thugs and started operating like the CEOs of an illicit shadow corporation. To run an operation not sophisticated, you need rules. So they implemented a strict corporate-style structure. Orders flowed straight from the top down with absolutely no room for debate. Every single member had a highly specific role, from the top bosses all the way down to the street soldiers. An extreme discipline was enforced. Breaking these top-down rules wasn't just a fireable offense, right? It could, and very often did, cost a member their life. This kind of ruthless efficiency, it perfectly primed them for what was about to happen next.
Section 4. The Prohibition Gold Rush. The ultimate catalyst.
The spark that truly blew the Mafia up onto the national stage arrived in 1920, when the United States officially banned the production, transportation, and sale of alcohol. The government unknowingly handed these syndicates the biggest financial opportunity in modern history. It was like a massive gold rush.
It's honestly one of the greatest historical ironies ever. Think about it. A law specifically meant to stop crime and improve public health ended up creating the largest black market in history. The demand for alcohol from millions of everyday Americans didn't just magically vanish overnight just because a law was passed. And the Mafia, with its strict organization, its code of silence, and its utter ruthlessness, they were positioned perfectly to supply that demand.
This shifted their whole business model practically overnight. Bootlegging, the illegal sale and distribution of alcohol, instantly eclipsed all their other operations. It rapidly consumed the vast majority of their revenue, completely dwarfing their traditional rackets like illegal gambling, extortion, and loan sharking. We are talking about millions upon millions of untraceable cash just pouring into their empires.
And the results? Absolutely explosive. Millionaire gangsters were minted almost instantly. This river of money funded a rapid transition. They went from local neighborhood bosses to heavy hitters operating on a massive national scale. All that wealth bought them surging influence. They could suddenly corrupt politicians and police forces at will, gaining unprecedented power in the underworld. They definitely weren't just surviving the harsh American reality anymore, they were completely dominating it.
But of course, all of this staggering success leads us to one seriously provocative question. As their fortunes exploded, what happens when powerful, ruthless national empires bump into each other and go to war over millions of dollars? Human ambition is a dangerous, dangerous thing. Those strict structures and codes of silence, they were about to be put to the ultimate test, triggering some of the most brutal, bloody rivalries America had ever seen. But that incredibly dark chapter of the Mafia's history is a story for our next explainer. Thanks for joining us, and keep questioning the history behind the headlines.